Okay, this short tutorial is going to be about LEQs and single event levels. In class, we have introduced the formula for the LEQ in terms of a single event level, which is a symbol of LAE, plus 10 log n minus 10 log t. Just pause for a minute just to see what we've got here. The LAE here is a single event level. That's defined as a 1 second LEQ. So it's an LEQ averaged over 1 second. N represents the number of impulsive events or short duration events that we have. And T here, capital T here, is the time period of the LAEQ. So this particular parameter here, the single event level, is primarily measured for events of short duration. Okay, so high noise events of short duration, I stipulate. Again, on the mathematical side, I know one or two people have had problems struggling to rearrange some of the items on this formula. If we took, for example, this formula and rearranged it for this parameter here, which is the single event level, it's a fairly straightforward job of moving this term and this term across to this side. So this becomes a minus as it moves to this side, and this becomes a plus. It becomes more of a problem though if you want to get the number of events. So in a situation, for example, you might be told, all right, that in a particular working environment that the LEQ has to be no more than 82 dBA. All right, you might have monitored the single event level for a particular process, so it could be an impulsive event, and you've been given or you've measured the value there of 95 dB. So the question we could ask ourselves is that this is the particular limit that we could have. These are the single event levels that we've got. Okay, and let's stipulate, for example, that the time period that we've got here that we cannot exceed for is 1 hour, which equates to 3,600 seconds. The reason why I've actually written this down in seconds is because any calculation or subsequent calculation that involves a single event level means that the units of time must be in seconds. So the question therefore is, how many of these individual events can we have in a period of 1 hour before we reach this maximum of 82 dB? Okay, so that's the question that we've got to do. So going to this particular formula here, all right, the LEQ in question, okay, is stipulated at 82 dB. So that's the maximum that we can have. The single event level is going to be your 95 figure. The next term is your 10 log n, which we haven't done anything with because n is the unknown. And this final term here, the 10 log t, is 10 log of 1 hour, which is 3,600 seconds. Always good just to put that 3,600 seconds in brackets. So the term that we want to get to is this one here. So again, using the same principles as in the other tutorials that we have, we need to isolate that term that I've underlined. Okay, so leaving that term on this side, don't move it, okay, because basically it's got a log with it, it's a plus, so we don't need to change it in any way, but we can move the other terms in this formula. So the 95 on this side becomes minus 95 on this side, and the minus 10 log 3,600 becomes plus 10 log 3,600. So all that's happened, therefore, is that we've moved this term and that term across to the other side. When we get to this stage, we can take the 10 across from here, so we can isolate the log term completely. Okay, so basically the log of n is going to be equal to this parameter here. So if we can just drop that line down, this line here is all that goes on there, and that's divided by 10. So we can put the numbers in there, okay, and if we put all the numbers in this formula and divide by 10, we will get a single number which equates to 2.256 equals log n. So you can check that with your calculators to make sure that you get that. When you get to that stage, you can then get rid of the log term, okay, And just to remind you how you do that, you just take an antilog on both sides. So this becomes just n, and this becomes 10 to the power of 2.256. Obviously 10 to the power 2 is about 100, so we know that this figure is going to be in excess of 100, and if you put this in the calculator, you'll get 180 events. So what this means is that you can have 180 impulsive events, okay, of magnitude of 95 dB, and that would equate to no more than 82 dB in total over that 1 hour period. Okay, so that concludes that short tutorial.